As your workforce care nurse, Glennae Davis, I want to help you understand what people actually mean when they say boldly, they be bold about it. We're all one paycheck away from homelessness, from poverty, from needing insurance, whatever your dependency on something of the system is more than God. So let me help you unpack that. My name is Glennae Davis. I am the visionary, the founder, and the CEO at Glennae's RX for Life. We have a workforce care center where we specialize in workplace mental health, and we provide the knowledge, specialized knowledge, understanding, and application for Black career women and registered nurses who are dealing with workplace issues that's sending them into psychiatry, using FMLA, and not being returned to work within their 12 weeks better than when they left, needing an accommodation to do a job that they did just fine before they left on their FMLA leave. Anywho, are we all one paycheck away? Yes and no. I guess it depends on where your faith lies. You have to check your faith. Are you exercising your mustard seed of faith in the workplace? So I ask you that because how can that be true? Psalms 37:25 is true. Two things can't be true at the same time. The world can't be true and the Bible. We're called to be separate from the world, right? And in the Bible, in Psalms 31, verse 25, the word of the Lord clearly says, I have been young and now I'm old, and I have yet to see the righteous forsaken or his seed begging for bread. I know what you're saying. Maybe they wasn't caught up in all the shenanigans at work, and maybe they weren't being denied their workplace rights. Maybe something was happening to keep these people from becoming beggars on the street. Like things are just not the same as they used to be. Well, back in 2012, I experienced something that so many people experiences in this workplace discrimination. In 2012, as a registered nurse, I was making six figures, living my best life, okay? Living my best life. And all of a sudden, something happened that sent me into the workers' compensation system. And then I faced the most horrific workplace discrimination issues that led me into psychiatry as my last resort for protection, for guidance, for something, some kind of help. But it's true that I couldn't keep the things that I had worked hard for follow the will of God in my life. I did. I had to let go of the very things that I worked so very hard for, that I spent nights studying for, to accomplish, to pursue. I had to let those things go and not negotiate with my accuser in the workplace so that I can keep some of what I worked for. It get real biblical when you're dealing with workplace issues. It get real spiritual when you are dealing with workplace issues and you are being led into mental health services. Do you know psych? The root word for psych means soul. So when you enter into workplace discrimination issues or job stress that's lasting you longer than 6 weeks, and it becomes so overwhelming, and there's spiritual components to it, and medication and labels and judgment and risk of losing things, you need to consider your soul. That's why you're going into mental health, so that you can consider your soul. I decided again negotiating away my inheritance with my former employer. And when I say that, let me restate that so that it's not so broad. My former employer wanted me to deny my injury. They wanted me to hide my record of disability and go back to work like nothing had happened. But I was injured and I was in pain. But they wanted me to do this because they didn't want me working as a person with a disability or a record of disability for, whatever, maybe the insurance reasons, who knows. But as a practicing registered nurse, as a woman of great standards and moral compass, how could I practice at the bedside or practice doing the work that I was doing when I had this repetitive stress injury that kept me, 10 out of 10 chronic pain and everything? And so I declined the offer. And as I'm reading about my experience with workplace discrimination in Operation Mental Health, practical lesson on career burnout and recovery. And this is a memoir of discrimination within a major U.S. hospital. If you're not reading this book and you're going through FMLA, workplace discrimination, trying to learn language, trying to figure out what's going on with you and what path to take, I highly recommend that you get this book This book is available only at glenaysrxforlife.com. But because I chose to God, I chose to put my health first. I did. I lost everything. I lost everything. I lost my six-figure job in 2015. I was making $67 an hour in 2015, plus a $20,000 a month stipend. I was a lung transplant coordinator by the time all this went down, making bukus of money. My social circle were professors of medicine, top immunologists, pharmacists, procurement doctors, pulmonologists, professor of medicines, and then me. Little old me. Yeah, I was there. I was doing it. The team was great, but the administration was a problem. They didn't want me to have that record of disability working. And they were going to see to it that they made my work a living hell. And they succeeded. But God. I can't get into the story, but what I can get into, because I'm reading the story right now in voiceovers. If you're not already listening to me or following me, please follow me, like and share this video, because it may reach somebody who is in need right now, dealing with workplace issues. But at the end of the day, I was fired for disability and I was left with zero income. My workers' comp was no more than 10 minutes of keyboarding per hour, no more than 10 pounds of lifting permanently, and to return to work with zero rating. If you don't know what that means that they did not, find value in my injury, and I was permanently disabled, and I couldn't write, and I couldn't type more than 10 minutes every hour. Went on ahead and wrote 2 books, and I couldn't lift more than 10 pounds. And I'm right now lifting up a whole nursing platform. So I say all of that to say, don't believe what your accusers say. They're your enemies, and you need to put on the full armor of the Lord when you're dealing with workplace issues. And I was fired, and I had 6 months of unemployment insurance. No, that's not it. I had 6 months of unemployment insurance, and that's it for 2 years, and a cashed out 403b, which was probably $20,000. And I'm telling you that I went 2 years and never missed a mortgage payment. I wrote my book, my first book. I laid the foundation for my business. And then at the end of the 2 years, I was healed, and I was being recruited by a hospital to work in their PACU as a registered nurse. And I was in escrow and not foreclosure. I didn't go hungry. My children didn't go hungry. So when they say that you're only one paycheck away from homelessness or sickness and all this old kind of things, yeah, if your belly is your God.